All right, let me go ahead and bring this presentation up. All right, so I just want to welcome you guys to this session. Of course, there's going to be a few more people that are going to pop through, which is totally fine. Again, this session does allow for you to be able to ask your questions live here, so you will be able to do that towards the to the end of the session. So let me check that. Okay. All right, awesome. All right, so welcome. So in this lesson today, we're going to talk about some of the foundational things that you need to have in place in order to be able to start your Arise IBO business. So if you are new here, an IBO is actually an independent business owner. So you can become an Arise IBO, basically owning your own virtual call center business via or using the Arise Virtual Solutions platform, okay? All right, so this give you guys just a little bit of information about me. Let me kind of move my computer here. Okay. All right. So just a little bit of information about me for those of you that do not know me. My name is Kenniqua, and I am the creator of the IBO Knowledge as Well program. And I help new and existing entrepreneurs launch and grow their virtual call center businesses using the Arise platform. So I like to share my tips, my experiences to help entrepreneurs just like yourselves actually go through and succeed at this whole thing as well. All right, so we still got people popping in here. Awesome. And while we're going through the presentation, you guys are welcome to go ahead and post in the chat, introduce yourselves, let us know where you are from and what stage of business that you're in. So you can post that into the chat as well. Now, as I'm going through the presentation, of course, if you do have questions, you're more than welcome to post your questions into the chat. But in terms of being able to come on mic, if you could just leave your mics muted until the end so we can open up for questions at that point in time. All right, so if you guys haven't already, so I do actually have a YouTube channel. If you do are not aware, I do have a YouTube channel where I talk about all things Arise Virtual Solutions. Okay, so pretty much everything that has to do with starting your Arise IBO business, I talk about. And then I do give some tips, obviously, for CSPs as well, but it's mostly geared to helping entrepreneurs launch their businesses. And then we talk about a lot of different things in terms of online business, and I share tutorials, tips, and all of that goodness. So definitely, if you haven't subscribed, be sure that you do go ahead and subscribe as well. All right, so we have a couple people here. We have Calissa that's in here from Black Bucks, Atlanta, Georgia, Shabrita. She's the owner of We Work Virtual. She's been 5 years in. Never be afraid to start over. Great advice. She's from Dallas, Texas. We also have Sherry out of Virginia. Awesome. She is from Interpose Outsourcing. All right, and then we also have Kathy, who's Kathy Virtual Call Center Services. Okay, great. I appreciate you guys, those of you guys who went through and started introducing yourselves. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, because I do post new videos there every single Thursday to help you grow your business. Now, if you're on our email list, I want you guys to go ahead and mark your calendar. If you're needing courses or you're needing documents or templates or anything to kind of really help your business grow, we do actually have a Black Friday sale coming up, of course, with it being Black Friday. Now, we don't have sales often, so if you've had your eye on a course or product or anything like that, you definitely want to take advantage of this sale. The details are on the website. This is really just a quick overview of it. I really won't go into much detail about it. We do have an open house, so if you want to come by and kind of look inside some of our course programs, some of them already have free previews, but if you want to look around, ask specific questions to see whether or not something specifically might be in the course that maybe you don't see in the curriculum, then definitely stop by. That's going to be on Monday at noon. So I can drop the link for you guys for anyone that hasn't gotten that email and you actually want to go through and see that. But the Black Friday sale is actually going to kick off early for people who actually sign up for the wait list. So on our website, if you go to the IBO Knowledge as Well program.com, on our website, there is a pop-up box, the wait list box that does come up. You do have until Monday to actually sign up for the wait list. So if you're interested in signing up for the wait list, which is where you get the most bang for your buck, that means you get early access to be able to shop on Thursday, November 25th, as well as you get an exclusive discount code that you can only use on Thursday and Friday. And then you do get exclusive bonuses. We are giving our social media planner template, which is a template that I created inside of Trello. So you'll get that Trello board that I use. And then you'll also get access to a free live coaching call as well. And then the other deals is going to be from the 26th through the 29th. And that's actually going to be pretty fun too. It's not going to be as high of a discount as you would get with getting early access. But you get a chance to scratch off your win. So you'll be able to go to our website. There'll be a little pop-up. You just scratch it off and you can win either 10% off, $10, or 15% off. All right, so we have some more people into the, okay, Latoria said Temples Galore is what you want. It'll be on sale, so you'll be able to get it. Thank you for subscribing. Israel says that they're in Mississippi, starting my call center, Excel Smart in July. Okay, awesome. Now, after this, you guys, if you guys do stay to the end, I am going to go ahead and give away a $25 Wahi's prize giveaway. If you're not familiar with Wahi's, it's work at home equipment solutions. And so that is a place where you can go through and you can get equipment that is compatible with Arise and mostly any other type of work, but you can get headsets, computers, and stuff like that. So I am going to give away a $25 gift card to them. So I will be purchasing it and handing it over to you. So after that, so how you would be able to do that, of course, is being able to go through and attend live, like what you guys are doing now for the most part, and stay to the end, and just be sure that you are commenting and you're interacting throughout this particular session, okay? All right, so today's agenda, we're going to talk about here is the essentials of launching your IBO business. We're going to talk about creating a niche, or a niche, however you want to say it, how to make money, and then I do want to get to the live Q&A portion here for it. So I want to leave about at least 20 minutes or so for live Q&A. So I am going to get through this here for you. The replay of this, I know I got a lot of you guys here inside the room. We are streaming it to YouTube. So if you do ever have to go back to look at this, you can simply just go back on YouTube and re-look at this again. All right, so the training objectives, for today is this training is going to be for you if you are an aspiring virtual call center business owner. So you're looking to go through and start your call center with Arise Virtual Solutions, or you're a new business owner, you just started and you're trying to figure out the ins and outs and kind of go through and put those ducks in a row. Or if you just need additional help with crossing some T's and dotting the I's in your business, then this training is going to be for you. So in this training, you're going to be provided with the tools, tips, and ideas to help launch and grow your virtual call center business. So one of the things that I want to go over first is going to be the basics, okay? So when I first started my business, all of these things that you see that's on this particular screen, I didn't have all of this stuff day one, okay? So I'm not saying that day one when you start, you need to have all of this stuff together, right? Ideally, it would be perfect. It would, in a perfect world, it would be wonderful if you can have all of this stuff from day one. However, a lot of times it's just not realistic because you're learning and you're trying to actually go through and start your business and you're trying to figure out what exactly it is that you need. But in order to be able to go through and build your business on a solid foundation, these, of course, are some of the things that you want to consider having set up in your business, at least I would say probably the first couple of months. You would need to obviously have a business license. Now, this can vary based off state. I've had people tell me, hey, in my particular state, I'm not required to have a business license. For our state, I know we live in Virginia. In our state, you are required to have a business license. The best thing for you to do is to be sure that you go through and you research for your state. All you have to do is you need to just Google LLC, because you are required to have an LLC when you're starting a virtual call center business with Arise. Simply just go ahead and Google start an LLC business in whatever state that you live in. That is going to give you the exact requirements that you need in order to be able to start an LLC business in your particular state. I know that most of them do, but again, I've had some people tell me that they're not required for their state. So again, you want to be sure that you do go through and you research that, but it's a simple Google search for you to be able to go through and find that. You do want to be sure that that's one of those things that you really get set up, is having that business license. The next thing is you want to have your finances in order, right? So you want to be sure from day one that you go ahead and have a business bank account. Now, my personal recommendations regarding this is look at the bank that you're already banking with, where you already have your personal banking. So if you have something with Bank of America or you have Wells Fargo, look at the plans that they offer, what type of benefits and everything that you can get with doing business with them as a business, with a business account for where you already have your account at, right? So I know a lot of times some people, they're like, well, where do I get a business bank account from? And they're trying to search for all these different places. Just start with the bank that you currently bank with. And then if you want to go through, obviously, and explore and determine and match and compare plans or compare banks, definitely do so at that point. Going ahead, number 3 is going to be, and this is, I'm saying number 3, but this is actually not in any particular order, okay? You just want to be sure that you do have some of these things set up as soon as possible. And of course, some of these things are required, like your LLC business license, that's required. Your business license, that's required if you want to go through and start with Arise. But starting to go through and keep track of your expenses and your profit. Now, I know you're probably saying, okay, well, I'm just starting. I don't have any type of profit because I haven't made any money yet, but I'm pretty sure that you have some expenses. So go ahead and start keeping track of those and records of those. That way you can go through and let's say if you start your business just now, being that we're in November, you can still write off whatever you did now on the taxes that you're going to be doing and processing in February or January, wherever you do your taxes. So go ahead and start keeping track of those now. And it's a great habit to build to start going through and keeping track of your expenses. I personally like to use QuickBooks. If you guys want, I can, after this, I can't necessarily grab it right now because I have the screen up, but if you want, I do have a 50% off discount code. If you're in the group, if you're in the Facebook group, it's inside of the announcement sections, but I do have a QuickBooks 50% off your first 6 months of QuickBooks Self-Employed. So it is a great tool. You can connect your bank accounts. That way, anytime you swipe your card, that information automatically gets put into QuickBooks. That's something that you want to go through and track, okay? All right, so something too that sometimes is kind of put on the back burner when we're trying to go through and set up a business, especially I found with an Arise business, because I actually have a couple other businesses, but sometimes I find that Arise business, and it's a little bit different, is that we kind of forget about the goal setting. When you come into this business, have some goals. Now, I know sometimes that it's kind of hard to set certain type of goals because you're not really sure what to expect. If you're not sure what to expect, there's a couple things that I can let you know. Is that even on our website, the kenniquaj.com website, we have a blog, okay? I blog about a lot of different things, but most of the things I blog about is Rise Virtual Solutions. And even on the blog, it does let you know that going through and like setting your goal settings of some type of expectations that you can have, approximately how many ages because maybe you can expect during a certain period of time. Of course, with this business, it's all about doing the work. You got to be able to go through and do that work. But setting goals is going to help you to have something to drive towards. So don't forget about setting down or creating your goals, okay? The next thing is going to be your CSP onboarding process. Okay. Now, this is something that a lot of times people find a little bit more difficult to kind of go through and create. And I will say, just from experience with creating a CSP onboarding process, this is not something that I feel like you're going to perfect day one, right? Because you're going to go through, you're going to make tweaks, you're going to make changes, there's been so many different CSP onboarding processes that we have had. We have taken one email sequence and maybe moved an email up. So maybe we may have a 3 email sequence. Well, instead of having a certain email fall at the bottom of the sequence, maybe it's going to maybe it should be the first email in the sequence. So there's a lot of different things that you're going to figure out as you're going through. You're going to figure out, well, should I do a video for this part of my onboarding process? Should I do live sessions? Should I do one-on-ones? So I do interviews. You're going to kind of figure this out as you go. And even when I personally started my business, this was definitely something that I had to adjust over time. And I pretty much did try everything in that area. I went and I used to go through, do one-on-ones, and I figured, you know what, I can't do one-on-ones because this is taking forever. I'm doing a massive amount of meetings every single day, and then sometimes people wouldn't even show up, especially when something is free. Not everyone is going to show up if something is going to be free. So you got to kind of keep that in mind, and your time is so valuable. One thing about with this particular business versus some other, mostly, I would probably put it in the mostly category of mostly other business, is that you're doing a lot of work before you actually get paid, right? Because with this whole model is that you're not earning any money, and we're going to talk about how to earn money, but you're not earning any money until after your agent actually gets certified in a client program in most instances. So you can be possibly doing a lot of work prior to actually earning any money. So what you want to do is really start putting systems in place and putting automation. So you guys know, if you guys ever have been to any one of my sessions, watch any of my videos, you guys know that I love automation and I absolutely love systems. We wouldn't run without them. So you want to be sure that you do have those in place, because you want to minimize the work that you're doing, but still maximize the impact. Okay. So you want to minimize the actual physical work that you're doing each and every day, but you still want to have the maximum amount of impact. Okay. So kind of think of it like that. Going through and creating a web presence. Okay, so going through and create a web presence, that is going to be setting up your website. That's going to be getting you a Facebook business page. That even an Instagram, wherever it is that you think that your ideal agent is going to be hanging out and that you're going to be potentially marketing to and advertising your business, you want to make sure that you're out there. When we go through, and again, this is not something that we did day one, okay? So don't get overwhelmed by all the little things that's on the screen. This is not something that we did during day one, but I can tell you that when you go through, and if you were to Google our company name for a call center, we come up on the first page, we come up with several different places just trying to build up the web presence. So you want to be sure that you do that. And obviously there's more in-depth ways that I'm not going to cover in this particular live, but there's in-depth ways of how you can really show up on the web. Okay. And then having a business email. Okay. So having a business email is, to me, important. Sometimes I feel like this is something that is really forgotten about. When I have people contact me, and this is just me personally, okay? For me personally, if someone's wanting to do business with me and they're another business, right? And they send me an email, and if I see that it has @Gmail at the end, it kind of, to me, especially if I don't know this person personally, like I haven't had any type of interaction with this person, and they're just kind of really, it's just really kind of like a cold email. But if I see it's @Gmail, I'm more likely not to investigate further. I'm more likely not going to reach out to that person, because it doesn't seem like they did that first step in terms of really legitimizing their business by just simply getting a business email address. So what I mean by business email address is anything that is at your actual domain address as a business address. So if you have, let's say your company is virtual call center. If you have support@virtualcallcenter.com, that's an email address. If you have hello@virtualcallcenter.com, that's a business email address. If you have virtualcallcenter@gmail.com, that is not a business address. Even though you put your company name in front of @Gmail, that email does not belong to you. It belongs to Gmail, okay? So really take that in consideration. You can get a business email address depending on where your website is. A lot of them, some of them offer them for free and others offer them for very low cost. But I do recommend getting this because people do look at this. And also too, you want to start really kind of building your reputation for your actual domain. And by doing that is by getting a business email address. And you can also use Google to do that as well. Like we have ours through G Suite. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and post those into the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and continue on. We're going to talk a little bit about niche here. Let me just check one thing here for you guys. 1 second. Let me turn this all the way down. All right, and so we do have, because I have to make sure, because I was streaming to YouTube as well. So I do have a couple people on YouTube. Tangela says she is from Atlanta. Awesome, thanks for watching. We have official Sean B from Florida, and we have someone else, Mo in Demand, from Atlanta as well. Okay, all right, so we have a lot of Atlanta people. We have Atlanta people in here too. Okay, awesome. All right, so now the next thing we're going to talk about, guys, is we're going to talk about niche. Now, this is going to be something that I can honestly tell you, again, something that is foundational, but not something you're going to figure out day one. Okay. I don't really expect for you to figure this out day one unless you really have a really extensive business plan kind of already put together. And I don't mean like the traditional business plan that you may see that, you know, maybe you're going to take to the bank to get a loan. I'm just talking about just a regular old plan that maybe you wrote on a piece of paper, or even like with us, we have our strategic planning, Arise IBO strategic planning workbook that we have on the website. That is kind of like a business plan that asks you all of these questions to kind of really help you think about your business even prior to even starting your business. So even something like that. But again, your niche eventually is going to be one of those things that you're going to eventually figure out who these people are that you really want to work with and who you actually have these connections with. So to me, the easiest way to kind of, and of course, all of these things are things that you would consider when you're considering the actual person for the niche. So like, who is your ideal agent? Asking yourself that, or where do they hang out? Their education level? What is their why? Like, why is it that they would want to work from home to begin with? Their goals, their family, their pain points. Again, pain points are very, very important. Pain points are what's going to drive your particular ideal agent into what it is that you have to offer. And that's going to be something to determine, again, why they actually want to go through and work, but it's also going to help you with your marketing and your advertising with your business if you know them. And even on here, something to consider is even income. So when you're going through, and once you start to kind of figure out who it is that you want to work with, it's going to help you with your marketing and recruiting for your business. And the reason for that is because, especially with this particular type of business, becoming an Arise IBO, it's a very, very small niche in itself, right? Like, who would know anything about being a Arise IBO unless they either knew somebody that was doing it, they maybe just stumbled across it, maybe from some of Arise's ads, maybe. But I don't find that people just kind of hey, just all of a sudden just kind of say, I want to be an Arise IBO out of thin air. They kind of know somebody that maybe knows somebody that told them about it. Like for me personally, I didn't know anything about Arise, never heard anything about Arise until I had an aunt that told me about it, and she had been working with Arise. And that's how I found out that they even existed. So I wasn't getting any ads or anything like that. So it is a very, very small niche, but it's one of those things that I feel like you can be very successful as an Arise IBO with having, really, it doesn't really, to me, and it depends on what you consider a success. But also to me, it doesn't take a lot of money to be able to market and to be able to recruit in your business, because you can do and leverage so many free resources that you can get in touch with a lot of different people and be able to build your roster and to be able to build people that want to service. And the easier, or the more you know who your niche is, the easier that's going to be. And the more you're going to be able to save your money, because you're going to be targeting your exact niche. Now, how do you actually go through and kind of figure out your niche? Besides just asking yourself these questions, a couple of things that I like to recommend for people to do is look at the circles and the environment that you're already in. Now, I'm not saying go through and market to your friends and family per se, but what I am saying is let your friends and family know exactly what it is that you are doing, because somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that does want to be able to work from home. So it's not necessarily going through and saying, again, I'm going to work with my family and friends. I'm going to get all of them onto my roster. I personally didn't really do that. I don't really like to do that because sometimes, working with family or friends can be kind of tough especially when you're kind of the boss and having to go through and uh, maybe give out corrective action or anything like that. So you don't necessarily, depending on your relationships, you may not necessarily want to do that, but somebody knows somebody. But also look at where you're going. So are you in maybe mom groups? Or you may be in mom groups that you can connect with other moms that you feel like, okay, I know their pain points. I actually did a video on YouTube that actually posted earlier today, is where really and truly is kind of like a mom story where, I did have a SOW in 2017 that was terminated, but mostly because I wasn't able to service due to having an infant, right? And so those are certain pain points that mostly moms go through. Guys don't really necessarily have those issues per se. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But those are the things that you want to look at. So you want to look at who you already have connections with. Or I know some IBOs do very, very well being or building connections with the military. They may be a military spouse themselves. They may actually be active in the military, and they already have relationships with these people. And so it's really, really easy for them to go through and say, you know what, I'm just going to make my whole campaign about going through and connecting with the military. And some IBOs have gone through and built their whole IBO roster on military wives and military spouses. So I really want you to go through and think about that, your connections that you already have, and figure out, where can I go through and market that way? And again, there's so many different free ways that you can go through and market your business. But the more that you go through and you know who your niche is going to be so much better for you in the long run. Again, not something that you're going to know off back. So you guys let me know in the chat. Have you guys already kind of figured out who your niche is at this point in time? You can post it inside the chat. Let me know if you've already. Latoria says yes. She does already know what her niche is. And you guys can just let me know in the chat. So if you already know what your niche is, you're like, okay, I got this wrapped up together, that's fine. And I do want to go ahead and preference and let you guys know too, that you don't have to have just one niche. Like, you don't have to say, okay, I'm only going to deal with military and that's going to be my whole marketing campaign is just to military. You don't. But what I would recommend is really splitting up your marketing campaigns to actually speak to that ideal client of yours. So let's say you have military, and let's say you have moms, and maybe you might say you have college students, right? Then those should be 3 different campaigns, because you're talking to and addressing 3 different pain points. And if you kind of think of it like this, and I kind of like what the old saying says, if you're talking to everyone, they are talking to no one. So you don't necessarily want to, especially when you're going through and you're posting on social media, to kind of come up with these general posts that's just talking to whoever, like whoever wants to work can work for me. Like, when you first start out, a lot of times, yes, that's going to happen that way. But as you go along, you're going to start to figure out your niche. Okay. So I know a couple people, they said not close. No problem. Eventually, you're going to start to figure it out. And then you're also going to start to figure out who you don't want to work with. Now, this is going to sound, I'm kind of going back to the story that I was telling you guys about the YouTube video, right? So one thing I used to do is I used to go through, when I first started my business, I used to target moms, but specifically not just moms. So I still target moms, but I used to specifically target, excuse me, I have a slight close, I have it. Okay, so I used to target specifically new moms, right? But after a while, I started to realize that that's not really a good target. And the reason for that is because, just like my story that happened to me, every single person, and this is the truth, every single person that I targeted that way, that situation happened with them as well. And it's understandable when you're a new mom, and I've targeted people that, oh man, I'm pregnant, I'm trying to get a job, and they're like 6, 7, 8 months pregnant, right? And it's like, oh, I'm trying to get a job, and I'm trying to get a job to work from home. And I used to really look for those particular posts when I'm searching through like Facebook groups and stuff like that. And those would be the people that I used to take on. But then I started realizing like these people are just like me, and they're not able to, they'll go through certification class, but they did exactly what I did. They weren't able to start servicing because the pressures of just being a new mom and being overwhelmed and just life of trying to adjust to having a new child is very difficult. And I actually targeting people that way, I didn't really find anybody to really successfully complete it that way. So eventually you'll start to figure out what's not going to work as well, right? All right, so Laceria says that she would be reaching out to a pagan community. Okay. All right, so yeah, your niche is definitely going to be something that's going to just save you so much time eventually when you go through and you start kind of trying to figure out who you're going to market to. Now, the next thing is we're going to talk about here, and we are going pretty good on time here. So it's 4:32, so we're going pretty good on time, as how to actually go through and earn money. So this is one of the most asked questions that I see, that I get, is how do I earn money in my business? And there's typically 3 ways that IBOs do go through and make money. So the first way is typically the flat IBO fee. All right. So your flat IBO fee is pretty much that you charge your agents a flat fee, which you can call IBO fee, admin fee. This is basically for your assistance, your resources, any type of incentives maybe that you offer to your agents, whatever it is, but it's for your overhead cost and the way you actually go through and make money. But your IBO fee is just a flat fee. So you would deduct that flat fee from your particular agent's pay. So let's say they get paid and they get paid $500, right? And your IBO fee is $25. You would take that $25 off top. And then you would also take out the $19.75, which is Arise Virtual Solutions fee. Okay. So kind of make sure I do distinguish this. That Arise Virtual Solutions fee is going to be, no matter what model of IBO fee that you actually go through and choose, that $19.75 fee is pretty much a standing fee. Now, as you get more agent servicing, they do offer some tier discounts. I'm not going to go over in this particular lesson, but that fee will eventually go down as you get more agents starting to service. But in general, it's $19.75 for the Arise fee. All right, so your flat IBO fee. So typically, let's say you say $25. Now, just to let you guys know, so I've seen it. Most people are trying to figure out, where exactly should I start in my fee? Should I do flat fee? Should I do percentages, or should I take off with a rate of pay? Do what works best for you. That's not something that I can advise you on. I can't tell you, hey, this is the right way to do it, because there is no right way. It's the way that you want to do it. A couple of things you want to keep in mind is, number one, that you are fair. You're fair with your pricing. You would want to charge someone what you would want to be charged. You don't want to overcharge someone. You don't want to take too much from someone's pay if that's not what you would want to happen to you, right? And then you want to also, to be sure, most importantly, probably before I should have even said that one, is that you want to be sure that you pay your agents every single time on time. Most important, that their agents are already getting paid. But when it comes to the IBO fee, I've typically seen IBO fees range anywhere from as low as $5 up to about $60 per pay cycle. Now, typically the average hovers around maybe $25 to $35 or $25 to $40 per pay cycle. But again, that's the average that I have personally seen. You don't have to be amongst this average. You don't have to feel like you have to choose a fee that is within that particular average. I personally do not find that agents choose IBOs based off of fees. Okay, so just because you have a high fee doesn't mean that people will not choose you. Okay, how I actually look at this, and then I'll go into the other things, is that I feel that agents choose IBOs based off of value and resources. If you are valuable, you provide them with resources that are going to help them to be able to succeed. You're going to provide them with resources and tools so they can actually earn money. They can possibly quit their 9-to-5 jobs and they can be able to live life on their own terms. That's the IBO that they want to work with, okay? I haven't seen personally that anyone has come to me to say, hey, I chose you because you were the lowest fee, right? Not a good way to actually go through and choose anything, really. You don't want to necessarily choose something just because it's the lowest, right? Because sometimes that also could possibly be something about perceived value as well, right? So again, don't worry about that your fee is too low, that people are not going to want to choose you because your fee is too high, but just make sure that it is actually justified of what you are charging, that you're actually matching your value with your price, if that makes sense. The next thing is going to be percentage. So some IBOs, they do decide to take a percentage off of the rate of pay. So with a percentage, that could typically be, let's say you decide to say, I'm going to take 10% of the agent's pay, right? So you're going to take 10% off the agent's pay. So back to the same example, if they made $500, you take 10%, that means your fee is going to be $50. So you earn $50 for that particular agent. But if another agent made $1,000, then you made $100 for that particular agent. Now, just really going and comparing the two is that you could potentially obviously make more money doing a percentage than a flat IBO fee. Now, I am going to give you the downside to percentages. And again, the choice is also yours if you're still trying to figure out, what is the fee? What should I charge? The downside to me personally for percentages is going to be that the people that work more, they pay more. And that means, in my eyes, they're kind of penalized more. So I'm all for me personally, I'm all for the person that works more. So I'll take somebody that's ready to work 40 hours over someone that wants to work 15 hours every single day, any day. And the reason for that is because if I can get a person to work full time, that means this person more likely is more dedicated because this is their full-time job. This is what they do. This is their bread and butter. This is what they do. Then a person that is working part-time, they have other obligations. And if something were to happen with their client program, it's not, the end of the world because it's just a part-time job, right? So I don't want to penalize my people that are really, really working and making them pay more than people who are working less. So that's a downside. But again, you kind of got to go through and weigh those options. Percentages, I've seen them typically between about 7 to about 15% as what people typically go through and charge for that. And then the last way is going to be deducting from the rate of pay. So as a call center, and I worked at a call center for 13 years, okay? So I could tell you, and I worked for UPS call center, and I can tell you for a fact that we were not getting paid what the client was paying, right? So with Arise, they do provide the IBOs. They provide each and every one of you guys with the rate of pay. And then you pay your agents, your business pays your agents what you see fit. That is typical call center type of thing. And it's not necessarily even call center. It's with anything. That's like saying if you go to Walmart, right? Walmart's not charging you what they paid for the item, right? Because otherwise they wouldn't make any money. So it's the same exact way or same exact type of thought process behind that. Just keep in mind the downside of doing that is that if you do have agents that talk and they figure, hey, I have this friend that's working the same client program and they're getting paid $15, but I'm only getting paid $12. Now that person feels like they may have been slighted, or they say, hey, I actually want to leave because I'm getting paid a little bit less and I would like to get paid more money, right? So some people do go through and do that. Again, totally up to you of which one of these options actually go through and that you want to do. So you can go through, if you want to post in the chat, if you haven't actually come up with your IBO fee, you can post in the chat and just let me know which one of these actually resonates with you the most. Like which fee you're like, what, this is the fee that I want to go through and do. Now, as you guys are actually going through and posting that, I do want to let you know that you are not stuck on your fee. Okay. Some people think, and I do a lot of coaching with a lot of IBOs, obviously. And a lot of times people are like, I don't know, they're kind of confused about what they want to do. They're like, oh, I'll just do $25 because I don't want to be too high. And I'm new. That doesn't matter. Okay. No one has to know that you're new. Okay. I used to tell people a lot of times, because when I used to kind of go through and look at websites and stuff, and, or people have me review websites, and I'll see on a website, they'll say, been in business since November 2021. Take that off. Okay. Nobody needs to know that you just started your business this month. Okay. Because if you want something to deteriorate or deter people from wanting to work with you, that would be it. Okay. So take that off. If you haven't been in business for at least a year, 2 years, don't put when you started your business on your website. Okay. Because no one has to know that you're new. That's why we have support groups, to make sure that each and every person has the resources they need, that if they have to come and ask questions, they can go through and they can ask questions. But don't nobody have to know that you're new. And you don't get paid less because you are new. So don't think that you shouldn't earn just as much as anybody else, or you shouldn't be paid for your work as much as anybody else just because you're new. And that's not the case of how this is in this business. But if you want to feel comfortable and you want to start at a lower rate just because you feel like that's your comfort level, you can always go back and change your rates. So, for example, when we first started our call center, we started off at $25. I personally do a flat IBO fee model, but we started off at $25 an hour, or not an hour, $25 flat fee, right? So per pay cycle. But as time went on, I've been an IBO I've been on the platform since 2015, and I've been an IBO since 2017. As time went on, we raised our rate. We raised our IBO fee. So we went from $25 to $28.50, and now we're at $32.50, right? And I don't really think I'm going to go above that. If I did, it would probably be 35, but more likely than not, I'm not going to go above 32.50. But what we did to make it fair is we didn't say the people that were servicing to say, hey, now, you're no longer paying $25, now you owe $32.50. We didn't do that. What we did was the people that started with us in the beginning, which we saw people who have been working with us since day one, they still get charged $25. They still get charged $25. The people that came in when it was $28.50, they still get charged $28.50. The people that came in after that, they all get charged $32.50. So all of our agents don't get charged the same fee just because it's based off when they came in and when we raised our rates. And we don't want to charge agents that we've had since, the beginning of time, to make them pay more just because we raised our rate. Now, when we do that, there are certain conditions that come with that. Like, so for example, it's kind of like if you have a cell phone plan, right? You have a cell phone plan, you're on a grandfather cell phone plan. But the moment you change that cell phone plan, now you have to pay what everyone else is paying. So it's kind of like the same thing. If we have a agent that is paying $25, right? So they're paying $25, but they say, you know what? I don't want to serve this client program anymore. I'm going to cancel this, terminate this SOW, and I'm going to go ahead and service another client program. Now they have to pay the new rate because they have changed their actual plan, right? So they've changed, in essence, their plan. They've changed their client programs, so they're no longer grandfathered in at the old rate. Okay. So don't get caught up on, you have to pick this particular fee, and this fee has to be your indefinite fee for the rest of your life. You don't have to do that. Okay. All right. So I made a pretty good time. I didn't think I was, you guys. If you guys have ever been to any of my sessions, you guys know that I go over, and I'm not trying to go over today. So I do have something free for you guys. I do have a free checklist, and then I can go through and take some questions. I do have a free checklist. If you haven't already downloaded, I know some of you guys probably have. It's a 6-page checklist that helps you to go ahead and get started launching and growing your virtual call center business. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into the chat, or you could just go to, for anyone that may be listening on YouTube, if you go to kenniquaj.com/checklist, then you'll be able to get right to it. So if you go to Kenniqua, it's my name, kenniquaj.com/checklist, you'll be able to grab that particular freebie. So it's 16 pages. It goes over quite a few of the things that we went over here. It goes into a little bit in depth of other things, and it'll allow for you, and it gives you some explanations that I have. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so we have made it to the end of here. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer some questions here for you guys. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna minimize this out a little bit here. All right. And if you have questions, it should allow for you guys, for some of you guys that are on here, just post into the chat to say you have a question. And then if you want to come on mic, we can go ahead and have you come on mic. That way I can be able to actually hear you and be able to answer your question. Thank you, Lateri, for putting that in there. She put that in the chat here. All right, Patricia. So you did have a question. Not sure if you want to come on mic, but you said when signing up for the virtual office, business email and a domain name, do I use my residential address or the new business address? And does my virtual business address need to be in the state where my LLC is registered? So I would recommend that it is in the same state that it is for your virtual address. If you use something like iPostal or what is one of the other ones, like Regis, it finds locations that are close or in your actual state that you should be able to register it for. Let me see the first part. Hold on, Miss, going back and looking at the first part of your question.
Hello, I'm on mic.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I got her question. So you said when signing up for your virtual office, your business email, your domain name, do you use your residential or the new business address? I would use the new business address for that one, especially with your domain, because what's going to happen too is you want to make sure that everything after that point does have like your business address up there. So I would use your business. You guys can still hear me pretty well, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
when I go to get a domain name and they ask for the address, I should use the business address that I just got.
I would use the business address.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get all my ducks in a row so I can leave my current IBO and start my own business at least by January. So.
Gotcha. All right. Let me see.
One more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do leave my current IBO, they don't have a termination fee, so that's good. But how do I need to how do I get my SOW transferred to me as opposed to my current IBO?
What happens is once you actually go through, and I would let your IBO know if you haven't already that you're going to be starting your own business. But then after that point is you would register your business on the Arise platform, and then you would go to support. You would go to support, and then they would go through and get your SOW transferred over. Matter of fact, now they have it where when you go to support, so the little blue bubble inside the Arise platform, there's actually a form that should, if you type in like, if you put in something like transfer SOW or something like that, they normally now have a form that you could just fill out, and it takes about 5 business days for them to transfer your SOW from your current IBO to your own business. And that, again, is what you would do after you register your business.
Okay. And I do understand that you lose all your hours.
Yes. So you'll lose all the hours that are all the intervals that you have picked up. And yeah. And okay. you won't get them back unless, after you get your SOW reactivated or issued under your own business, that you can go back and, have access to Starmatic and be able to pick up hours. But yeah, you'll lose all your hours.
Okay, dokie. So I think that was it. Thank you. I am in the academy, so we will have access also to the email templates for Trello for social media planning.
It is not. No, it won't be in there for Trello. Not right now. Okay. That's actually separate.
Need to sign up for the Black Friday deal. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're already in the academy, you don't need to sign up for the Black Friday deal. I may add something for you guys that's already in there, but that's actually just a bonus just for Black Friday. So you won't be, if you're already in the academy, you don't need to pay for the academy again.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. This name is cut off. I think Dola Dolapo was kind of cut off. You have a question? You can come on, Mike.
Yes, thank you. I had a couple of questions, but my first one was, I went to my bank, like you suggested, to, work with your existing bank. And I was told by the person I was speaking to that they don't work with the RISE. They don't, and very likely they'd let me open it, but I'd have issues down the line. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I know some people that have said that, specifically about Navy Federal.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's the bank that you went to.
No, Bank of
Um,
America.
Bank of America. Yeah. Okay. So I have heard people say that about Navy Federal. Then in that case, you want to check with another bank. Even the people that said that about Navy Federal, I have Navy Federal. I've had them since the very beginning, haven't had any issues. But I will personally say though, to the fact of if you go to another bank, I wouldn't tell them that you're with Arise Virtual Solutions. They didn't ask me that either. At the time, I basically just told them it's consulting because that's what we do is consulting. I mean, we, connect people with kind of like work from home, but it is consulting. So our business is under consulting, not under virtual call center or anything like that. Because some businesses of those types can be flagged. So we personally use consulting.
Okay. Okay. And then my other question, I want to become my own IBO. I've just started the process. I've registered my company, but I've serviced 2 clients under Arise just so I'd understand better what the process was. And I could advise my own agents when I start getting them. I'm wondering, how do you handle the high turnover? Because it just seems like there's a huge turnover of people going through the process, even those getting certified and never servicing 1 minute because, tech support issues. I service the exercise company and the bag company. And with the exercise company, we had major tech issues. And it just seemed like it was really complicated for a lot of people. So we had a lot of people just drop off. And with the bag company, tech support again, because it's behind the ASD. So you gotta, I'm not someone who gives up very easily. So for me, it's been easy to just stick it through and until I figured it out. But I would say at least 80% of the people in my class no longer service that bag company anymore.
Okay. So one thing about it is with call center work in general, the turnover, like I said earlier, and I worked in a call center before 13 years. Call center work is a high turnover type of business anyway. But the best thing that you can do, I believe, from an IBO standpoint is to set clear expectations. One thing I never tell anyone that it's just going to be easy, that you're going to be able to do this and it's going to be a walk in the park. To really set those expectations and just to be very supportive of them and available. So if you're, especially when you're talking about going through and agents that are in certification class, those people, like with our agents, we check on them on a weekly basis to kind of see how things are going. Do you need any help? Do you have any questions? Because we understand that these people are on the next step to actually getting certified through that particular client program. So though you can't solve tech issues per se, you just want to be sure that you're just available and supportive. And again, setting clear expectations of letting people know what to expect prior to going to a training, give them any type of tips that you can give them for success. We even have videos like just like that. Here's your tips for success. This is what you can expect. This is the type of mindset thing that you have to go through, because I know when I was servicing and going through client programs, it was hard. And like you said, I'm not one of the people either to kind of just like give up easy, but it was really hard. There were days that I didn't want to go through certification class and I didn't want to get up and do it. So just about setting expectations is the best thing that I can say, and making sure that you keep in contact with them.
Okay, thank you for that. And my last question, I got an email from your company. As I think the Academy was discounted. Is that no longer valid and now we should wait for the Black Friday sale?
Correct. So there's no, you mean talking about today?
No, I got this last week and I was actually planning on signing up for the Academy with that this week. But is
Okay.
is it invalid now?
So it is valid. What happens is when you sign up for a free preview, you're talking about the 5% off.
Yes.
Okay, so it is still valid. However, you can't use double coupons. So being that we do have the Black Friday sale that's coming up, it's best just to use that because you'll get more of a discount than just the 5% off. So if you are looking to sign, so let's say you don't want to wait. I know some people tell me they don't want to wait. And so I just been giving people coupon codes because the coupon codes that are for Black Friday, they're active. So if you don't want to wait, I can give you a coupon code to be able to use. That way you don't have to wait till Black Friday.
Okay, should I send you an email to ask for
Yeah,
it?
you can send me an email. I can send you the code.
All right, thank you.
Mhm. All right. Did anyone else have any questions for me? All right, Shabrita has a question. You can go ahead and come on, Shabrita.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry.
No
So
problem.
I just had a quick question because I was assisting one of my friend of mine who was wanting to become his own IBO. Once you got the okay from in this situation, he used LegalZoom. He did apply for his EIN on the IRS website himself. From that point, like how long does it typically take for Arise to recognize that to where he'll be able to go ahead and register on the platform? Only because I noticed there's like a 3 strikes and you can't do it anymore. So we've already used one of them. So I just don't want to like do it again prematurely and then it ends up, locking him out per se to register on the platform, his IBO.
When did he do his EIN?
Um I know we did his business setup like maybe like a week ago, but I think he did his IBO probably at I want to say maybe a couple days ago.
Okay. Because he would want to make sure too that his EIN is active because normally it used to not take that long for an EIN number to get active. But I know since the pandemic, they have been really delayed in getting EIN numbers active. So I would have him double check that first. But then after it's active, it shouldn't be, I haven't heard of that whole 3 strike you're out process, but um it shouldn't take that long, just a couple of days once his EIN is active. So he wants to make sure that that EIN number is active first.
Yeah, because whenever we put it on, we went through it a couple nights ago, and when he put it in the first, it was just saying that it wasn't like they couldn't recognize it, and it said that you have 3 attempts, and it went down to 2 after we put it in that first time. So I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a week, and then we'll come back to this just so we can give ourselves time in the event that that was the case. So
Yeah, so I would have him double check to make sure his EIN number is active first to
okay,
make
and he just
sure
does
because
that.
that
Sorry.
did they send him anything like in the mail or anything like that, or to say that it is actually active?
And no, not necessarily, but with the I, what he did is whenever he did sign up for it, he was able to get that PDF letter immediately. Like as soon as he was finished, as soon as he finished registering it, it sent him the PDF version of the EIN, his business name, the EIN number, like the normal letter you would normally get.
Mhm.
So that's what I figured. Maybe it was active at that point.
Okay. Yeah, maybe if he has, because if he's doing that, then he probably still has access to chat support. Have chat support, Arise chat support. Just have them double check and ask them first. But it sounds like maybe his EIN number is not fully active or fully registered yet, because they may give him the printout. But I would have them double check that, especially if you said that they're starting to do that 3-strike process. I would have them double check that first.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Lataria, I think you said that you had a question.
Okay, I was just kind of wondering, I was changing my name from, from sole proprietor to myself and going to go over to my LLC. So the tech support told me to, cancel the MSA and the other thing, my SOW that I had. Will that will cancel your whole account? Because like I can't log in now. So, and it's not recognizing my account. And I was just wondering, is that what that do?
So you were under sole proprietor, but then you just canceled your MSA and your SOW?
Yes.
It shouldn't cancel. I wouldn't think that it would cancel your whole account, because most of the time what happens is, because we have people that cancel that are sole proprietors. Let's say they went through and they accidentally signed up as a sole proprietor. And that's what they have to do. They have to go through and cancel out their MSAs, and then it's supposed to take them back to, or it actually does. We just did this yesterday, that it takes them back through to be able to go back to the original stage of being able to select an IBO or start your own IBO. What I could do, I would recommend, just if you can't log into your account at all, is reaching out to Arise. So try to email them at registration. So it's registration@registration.arise.com, and provide them your name, if you remember your CSP ID number, all that information, and to see if they can get you back into your account if you can't log in at all.
Yeah, and I did the password, like send it to my email, and it doesn't go to my account. I was like, did they delete me? I'll send them an email. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, and normally it takes them about 3 business days or so to get back to you. But yeah, that's what I would advise here. And I know, Tabitha, you said that you wanted the coupon code too. So what I'll do, I'll give you guys the early access coupon code. So I'm going to just type it into the chat. So this is the early access discount code that would give you the $25 off. Let me make sure that's the code. I think that is the code. Hold on 1 second before I type it. And I think Patricia had asked me for it too. So it's hold on 1 second. Let's see. Codes. All right, well, that's loading up. Patricia asked, how do you set up your business banking to get paid by Arise? All right, so the business banking to get paid by Arise is just simply just going through and just having your business bank account. So Arise is going to deposit the money into your business bank account, and then you actually go through and you disperse the pay to your agent. Now, how we personally do that is we use, okay, so this is the code I'm sending through, guys. That's the code for the early access. So that'll get you $25 off the IBO Launch Academy. Okay. All right. So yeah, so you just go through and you use that your Arise deposited to your business bank account, and you just go through and disperse it out. Go through and disperse it out to your agents. And we personally, we use Square Up. So I could put that into the thing, to the chat. We use Square Up to actually send out our payroll. I do like the code. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I had it on direct message. Hold on one second. To someone else. Hold on. Okay, you should be able to see the code now. All right, and we use Square Up. That's what I'm going to type that over again. We use Square Up to be able to disperse to our agents. One thing I like about Square Up, and then we are going to go ahead and close this out, but what I like about Square Up is that it's perfect, especially for newer IBOs, because you could go through you link your bank account to it. And so what happens is you go through, you process your payroll, and then Square Up deducts those funds. So let's say it's $1,000. Square Up deducts the funds from your business bank account, and then it disperses it to the agents that you told it to disperse it out to. But the good thing about it is because you can set it up, you can have all your agents in the system, and you're only charged $5 per month per agent that you actually paid. So let's say you go and you have 50 agents, right? But you have 50 agents on your roster, but you have them all set up in your payroll system, but you didn't pay any of them because none of them are working yet, then you're not charged. And that's personally what I like about Square Up. One of the things I like about Square Up, because when I used to have Intuit, we used to get charged for every single last active person that was in there, whether they got paid or not. So like, let's say they didn't work, we still got charged for them. So our bill was extremely high because we were getting charged for everybody that was active. And so, but Square Up is not like that. So it was a really good starter one. Like I said, I still use them because I really, really like them. Also too, they do your 1099s for you at the end of the year. They calculate those, they have them sent out to your agents for you. So you don't have to worry about doing that. The first year when I was using, Intuit and I didn't have that option, I was manually doing that stuff, which was a headache. So Square Up takes care of all that for you at no additional charge. You get the reports, the W-9s, not the W-9s, the 1099s, they send them to you as well. So you have a document of them from each year. You can always go back in your past years and be able to see it as well. But it's a really good system as well. The agents, they have their own separate account through Square Up. So when you set them up through their system, they can go back and they can see all of their pay stubs from prior pay stubs. So if they want to see something from January, they can go back in there and they can see them. So I personally like to use them for some people that are looking for actual direct deposit accounts. All right, so we can take maybe one more question and then we're gonna go ahead and close this out. If you did have a question, you can just say you have a question and then we'll go ahead and close it out for today. Let me go ahead and post into the chat too, in case you need the free checklist. Again, it's kenniquaj.com/checklist, in case you do need that. Yeah, Patricia, send me, be sure just to send me an email about it. Send me an email and then I'll have to manually add you to it. So send me an email and then I'll just manually add you to it because it's not set up for, with the Black Friday, everyone will actually get an automated email letting them know that they're going to be added on to it and get the links and stuff and discount codes for that. But yeah, I have to manually add you. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me for this session as always. All right, awesome. Tabitha. You said, can I put it in the IBO launch community chat? Are you talking about the Trello? Can I put it in there? No, just send an email to me. I'm not going to put it in there as of yet. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming. Kathy, Patricia, Jermaine. Okay. All right. I appreciate you, everybody, coming today. And I will see you guys again if you want. Oh, let me give you the link to Let me see. Where's a quick place for me to find that link? If you guys go in, if you guys are inside the group, we do have it's in the email too. So if you're on our email list, so even if you sign up for the checklist, you'll be on the email list. But if you want to come by for open house, it's going to be on Monday. So it's going to be Monday at noon. So if you want to kind of see what's in some of these things, some of these courses and stuff like that, you can come to open house, and we're going to be looking at some of them and answer any questions that you have specifically about some of the products. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and you guys take care. I'll see you guys